Man, that Miguel song at the end of Power, I was just like, okay, Miguel, I didn't know you could sing like that. I didn't know you could sing like that. Welcome, guys. It's me, Felicia from Super Nerdy Church Girl, and I am back for Power Season 6 premiere review. Let's get started. So this episode was called Murderers because they're a bunch of flipping murderers. I mean, they're beautiful and exciting and we love them, but they're murderers. So let's get to it. What happened? Angie dead, y'all. She is dead. I did not believe that they would kill Angela. I'm sorry, I just did not believe it. And I was just like, okay, she's gonna survive. It's gonna be some weird like Kanan season 3 type of deal where he was locked up and he was on fire and then suddenly he became a phoenix. I don't know, he was resurrected. But no, she's like dead. They showed her in the morgue. Paz was screaming murderer and Jamie in the hospital, and then they showed her like zipped up and Cooper Sacks unzipped her, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but Angie's dead, y'all. And I know so many people was like, oh my gosh, I hate Angie, I hope she dies. But I was like crying. Can you believe that? I was crying, y'all. I was crying. She gone. Angie gone. I'm like, oh, hold up a churro for the homie Angie. She's gone. Anyway, so when it first starts, the episode first starts, there's a lot of flashbacks. I mean, there's flashbacks from all of the seasons, from season 1 when Jamie spots Angie in the club that first night, their first date, just all of that when he broke up with her on that episode. What was it called? Like, it's the right thing to do or something. Just all of the little ups and downs of their crazy romance. And, they show flashbacks of Tommy and to the issue with Teresi and how Jamie tricked him into killing his own dad, and just really setting up this episode and why the action is occurring the way that it is. So starts the ambulance scene, and Angela's just like, she's bleeding from her chest. They're trying to stabilize her, and James is there, and she's like, Jamie. He's like, Angie, do something. And she died. Yo, I'm sorry. I have to take a little bit of go off on a tangent. Like, who is doing Amari Hardrick's hair and beard? Like, they totally overdid it on the dye, the Just for Men, the Beijing, whatever it is that these guys are using. I'm just like, dude, why does it look like... don't do that, guys. Don't do that. But anyway, so she dies, and I'm not gonna say this everything sequentially. So Angela dies. He's trying, before she's like dead, they're wheeling her into surgery. He tries to go back, and the nurse is like, are you her husband? And he's like, not exactly, which is the freaking story of their entire relationship, is that she's his mistress. And I'm really glad Courtney Kemp and the writers were really, really honest about like the crap that happens when you are the mistress of a murderous drug dealer. You can get shot in the chest or in the face or in the head or anything because they're murderers, as the episode states. They're murderers. So then Jamie, after she dies, Paz calls him a murderer. He tries to hold her while they're like crying and grieving and stuff. He leaves the hospital and he's wandering outside like a lonely madman, because guess what? He's a lonely madman. He blew up his life, his wife, his family for this teenage romance revisited, and now she's dead. So then it cuts to James and Tasha 2.0, because that's what I like to call Lakeisha and Tommy, because Lakeisha is so determined. It's like she's so determined to be Tasha 2.0 or something. She's just like such a bird. It's so it's painful to watch. So you know, Tommy calls Lakeisha. He's like, "Oh man, I did it or whatever, and I need you to come meet me. Put on some clothes." And she's like, "Oh, Tommy, what the f, Tommy? Oh my gosh, whatever, Tommy." So then he calls her to some secluded location and is like, "I need you to toss this gun in the river." She's like, "No, okay." You know, like really? That's all it took. That's all it took to put you and your son in jeopardy, you know. So she puts the gun in her purse, and I'm not gonna go sequentially because I need to get this out of the way. So later they show Cash, who is now like a freaking adult, or he's like 12 or something, and he's so handsome and so sweet, and he's asking his mama to make him waffles, and while she's, you know, going to the kitchen, he grabs her purse. She's like, "Don't touch my purse!" Because that's how Lala acts. I love Lala Anthony, I really do, but oh girl, I don't know what acting class she took. She is just like, "Cash, don't touch my purse." And he's like, "Okay, mama, I was just trying to get some lunch money." So she has the gun in her purse. She still hasn't tossed it out. And I'm just going to tell her story. I'm not like, look, this is what happens with Lakeisha. She's a bird. So she doesn't, she gets her purse from Cash. Later on, we see that she is tossing the gun in the river. And she grabs the gun with her bare hands. And then she's looking all around like, because that's how she acts. And then she goes and tosses the gun in the river, and I'm just like, "La girl, we love you." So yeah. So then after like the hospital scene, Jamie's being interrogated by these little cops. I mean, not like official interrogation. They were like, "Okay, you're bigger than her, how, and taller than her. They're aiming at her. How did she get shot?" And he's like, "Oh, when she wakes up, she's gonna tell you she pushed me out of the way." And I'm like, "Boy, she gone. Jamie, Angie gone. Child, talking about when she wake up." So then we get into this room, the scene in Angela's office with Tamika, Cooper Saxe, and Donovan, and they're arguing, and they're upset because they're basically like, "We put her in danger," which is why the show is called Murderers, plural, and not murderer, because as the action progresses, you can see how all of them kind of put Angela in this position to get shot. So far we've discussed Jamie. He called her, you know, to their old high school to see if she was the witness against him. And what prompts him to do that is Proctor telling him that there is a witness, a female witness against him. And what prompted Proctor to tell Jamie is Cooper Saxe telling Proctor that there's a female witness, because he was trying to get him to flip. So if you connect the dots, it's really like Angela's office, like leaking information, which has been the theme for all 6 seasons, that kind of led back to that situation. So Saxe gets his Greg Knox on. He's like, "I'm going to make him pay. I'm going to make him pay." Now, can you imagine if Power was a musical? But the music, man, okay, I know I am like diverging, but the music was great. That Miguel song really did something to me, man. So, Tamika says, Like sometimes they deliver these lines and they're just so ham-fisted. She's like, "This is a dangerous effing place to work," and I wrote that down because I'm like, really, really. But if you think about it, Greg Knox was killed. Um, Mike Sandoval and Angela. But then if you think about it, Angela got Mike Sandoval killed. So she is a murderer too. Ciao. So Cooper Sachs enters the morgue. He sees Paz crying over Angela. He tries to get her to agree to an autopsy, and she refuses because she's like, "You're not going to mutilate my sister's body." So then we go to the scene where Tommy's entering his apartment and he's all like looking around because he's suspecting something. Then Ghost comes out of the blue with a bar and hits him, and then they start this fight. And now it was so reminiscent of that Kanan and Ghost fight in that abandoned warehouse. And then like while they're fighting, they're like talking about their issues. "Did you really think you're gonna get away with me killing my father? Boom, 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 boom. Did you really think I was gonna let you shoot Angela and get away with it? Boom, 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 boom." And then they're wrestling and they're tussling, and then they're, fighting. And then Tariq comes out of the blue. He's like, "What's going on?" And he picks up a gun, and then they stop fighting. When this is where things get a little unbelievable. Okay, so y'all some murderous drug dealers, and y'all both killed the people closest to you in your life that you love, that you've always wanted. He always wanted Jamie. Tommy always wanted his father. So they're both dead, and the other is responsible. So they're like, you're that angry enough to try to kill each other, and then Tariq pops up, and then everybody's like, "Well, I'll talk to you later." And then James leaves Tariq in the house with Tommy, and I'm like, what? That part didn't make sense to me, but whatever. I know they have to move the action along, but yeah, that was like one of those little plot holes where it's just like, that makes no sense. So Tariq is like, "Tommy, I need you to do something with me." He's like, "Yeah, okay, but I got some business to take care of." The business that he has to take care of is he has to go and deliver a check to Jason, Chicago Jason, pick up the shipment of cocaine and deliver it to his crew, because he has Dre's whole crew now. Because you remember from last season, Dre was taken into witness protection. Yada, yada, yada. Well, he gets to Jason and he gives him the check, and then Jason's like, "Nah, I'm not giving you your shipment till tonight." And so then Tommy's like, "Okay, well, that's gonna put me in a bad light." And he's like, "Look, you come back tonight. I gotta make sure this check clears." Which I don't know how they just be swinging $2 million and money and financial documents like a check, and nobody suspects anything. But anyway, it's TV. So Tommy goes back to his crew. He's telling them, they gotta wait till tonight, and he has a big black eye because he and Ghost have been fighting. And so everybody's clowning him, like, "Oh, they have hotlines for people in domestic violence situations." They're really clowning him. And Pancho is really clowning him. And so Pancho, he gets buck, and he's just like, "Look, you ain't blankety blank without Ghost." And then Tommy shoots him because it's Tommy. So then he tells... Now, Pancho is a Primera, and I guess he became a Primera because, what was that guy? He's a really, really cute Puerto Rican guy. Was his name Carlos? I don't know. But yeah, the guy who was killed with, was he? I can't remember. Somebody put it in the comments. But yeah, so him. So he kills Pancho. The guy who's with Pancho, he's like, "Look, you can join him or you could be promoted." And the guy was like, "I'll take the promotion, please. Thank you." So then, I forgot, there were some scenes with Tasha trying to contact Terry Silva by phone, and she's crying in the car. And then there was a scene where she goes to his office, and the receptionist girl is just like, "We can't find him," and then she's looking crazy. And so then there's this scene with I forgot to say, there was a scene with Tommy and Tasha where Tommy basically tells her Angela's dead. He was aiming for Ghost. And then Tasha's just like, you think you've messed up, you took a shot at the devil and you missed. And it was like that interaction with she and Tommy. I was like, man, Tasha really is over Ghost. Like, she is really like, I mean, she basically said, I don't want you to kill the father of my children, but it's not like she was all anti-Tommy either. She was more still neutral. She was like, y'all need to work this out. Because Tommy basically was like, okay, I shot Angela, I need an alibi. And she was like, you better make sure she's dead or an alibi won't help you. And so then Tommy's like, I don't need your permission, because she was like challenging his decision making. He's like, I don't need your permission. And she was like, well, if you want my alibi, yes you do. So the whole point is she tells him to work it out with Ghost, and then she could give him an alibi because she doesn't want them killing each other. Well, Ghost calls Tasha. She shows up in his office, and he was like, Tariq's not at school. And she's like, you could have called me and told me this. And he's like, well, Angie's dead. And she's like, and he's like, and Tommy did it. And I guess he wanted some sympathy or Tasha to be on his side. And Tasha's like, yeah, because you tricked him into killing his father. And he's like, that's what he told you. So you can see that their loyalty is dead pretty much. Or I don't know. Something tells me Tasha, it will still hold it down for him. But man, this was a challenging episode. So in that little interaction, he was basically like, have sympathy for me. The woman that I loved is dead. And then Tasha's like, Ninja, what? I'm your wife. She was like, you know what? It's always about you. You always think everything's about you. I want a divorce. Oh, and then I forgot. She says, well, what about the man I love, Terry Silva? And then she's like, what happened to him? And he's still lying like he ain't choked that man out in the parking lot, which I don't understand why he killed him. Because I'm like, did he kill him out of some kind of latent lover's rage? Because I don't know. Because I don't think Silva was a threat, but I don't know, I could be wrong. I rewatched some episodes, but I could be missing something. So this scene was hilarious. So what Tariq wanted to do with Tommy was to release Kanan's ashes. And so they're on this rooftop and they're trying to have a moment, and Tommy's like, okay, hold up. And he puts on boom, 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 boom to me. And I was cracking up because I'm like, Tariq don't know no doggone Bone Thugs-n-Harmony and Meet Me at the Crossroads. And it was like comic relief. I know they probably threw that in there to break up the seriousness of the episode, but that was hilarious, man. So Tommy basically tells Tariq, your dad tricked me into killing my dad, and how would you feel if something bad happened to him? And then Tariq, ungrateful little ninja, was like, Uncle Tommy, honest Uncle Tommy, I don't know. So something tells me, because I have some predictions, that Tariq loves his dad and he might have to, I don't know, defend him against Tommy. So Tommy's still with Jason and them, and he goes back to Jason and them, and then Jason's like, okay, here's your shipment. And then Jason like gives him this weird hug, and then he basically is stealing Tommy's keys, which Tommy doesn't realize. He hands them to this guy, and he's like, okay, he's gonna pull around the truck, which is with the shipment, but he's actually going to drive Tommy's car. And he's driving Tommy's car, and then Ghost comes out with like this machine gun, and he like lights up Tommy's ride. I mean, he shot that car like from the rooter to the tutor, but there was no way the person in there was going to survive. And so then after that, Tommy's looking crazy because now Jason's like, I knew Ghost would follow you. Well, they go out, rushing out. And by that time, Ghost had run away. And they're looking. And then Tommy's like, how? Why? What? And then Jason's like, I knew Ghost would probably be watching you, and so I needed you. Basically, he needed him to see that Ghost wasn't loyal. Ghost wanted him dead. And so Tommy's like, well, it could have been revenge for Pancho, because he had shot the Primera back in their earlier meeting when he didn't have the shipment. And then Jason's like, look, you know who did it, so what you gonna do? You gonna run and hide, or you gonna take care of business? So then it's kind of ironic that after this scene, you see Tommy rush back home to Lakeisha, and she's like, oh, Tommy, I thought you were gonna call Tommy. And they're all in love and stuff. And then he's like, Keisha, this means war. And he's like, I should probably send you and Cash off somewhere. And she's like, Tommy, if I can help you, I'm gonna stay right here and be the bird that I am. And he's like, baby, Popeye's got that new chicken sandwiches. We don't need no other birds. But if you love me, Keisha, girl, I don't know how this gonna end. She's like, Tommy, I'm not going anywhere. I'm Tasha 2.0. And he's like, okay, girl, you got a brother's back. And that's literally how the scene went. No. So Tommy has Keisha, right? And then they cut to the scene of Ghost in the car, and he's like, oh, he does that heavy breathing when he's getting into Ghost, like he's the freaking Hulk or something. And he doesn't have anybody. Angela's gone. Tasha's gone. Tommy is gone. He's all alone. So I'm just like, what did all that drug dealing, murderous behavior get you, Mr. James St. Patrick? But child, I don't know. I'll tell you this. This was a good episode. And while he was sitting in the car, like, crying and whatnot, Miguel's song Ran was playing. And I'm like, that boy can sing. Yeah, so that's all I have. I love the episode. I can't wait till next week. Please, please, please let me know if you like this review. You can go to FeliciaMalone.com and buy my book, Ruth's Awakening, a Love Story. If you love a good love story, seeing that, Angela's dead, you can read my love story. SuperNerdyChurchGirl.com, Ruth's Awakening, a Love Story. And that is found on Amazon. Thanks, guys. Until next time.